All right, next up, Sam Houston State Bearcats, Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. As we go to the Conference USA for this matchup here. Western Kentucky, 10-point home favorites, 60 the total. This is obviously regular, location, if you will. Western Kentucky, true home game. No neutral field here for this one. I am not obviously bearish. Actually, I am bearish, no pun intended, on the Bearcats this year. I don't like the way things are kind of trending with them. It was a great season last year. They lose, in my opinion, a guy that's a great coach in Casey Keeler, who had been there for a very long time. Don't be surprised if it's going to be a tough maybe first year at Temple for him, but don't be surprised if Casey Keeler gets Temple going in the next few years in the upward direction once again. But Sam Houston State brings in Phil Longo. I'm not enamored by that, especially from a head coaching standpoint. I thought things were kind of flamed out at really his last two spots. North Carolina, when he was an OC there under Mac Brown, it kind of fizzled at the end, and the offense and it just didn't go well. And then, of course, it was almost a disaster for him at Wisconsin when he was brought on board there to be the offensive coordinator. And now you're making him the head coach. I don't know if he's really head coach. I've seen this guy do a lot of interviews, and I just from afar, just looking at body language and the way he talks to the media, I don't look at that as a guy that looks like a head coach that commands a group of kids in a locker room, in my opinion. So I can't say this hire is great. I don't think it's a great fit schematically either, because what's Sam Houston State been built on all these years? Power run game, slow it down, and really, really rely on a heavy ground game as their offensive philosophy. Well, you're going to bring in Phil Longo, who's the head coach, and Zach Patterson's going to be the offensive coordinator. But apparently Patterson, even though he's been with the Sam Houston program for a bit, he plans on kind of, being a yes man here and a puppet, if you will, to Longo. Because what Longo wants to see in this Sam Houston State offense this year is more throwing, more passing, and a faster pace. He wants more tempo, and he wants to throw the ball a little bit more. Now, the question is, you're now installing this for a team that's been power run game and recruiting players for a run-heavy offense. How's it going to pan out initially is the question. The good news is he does inherit a very experienced quarterback who's been here for a while now with Sam Houston State in Hunter Watson. My one question is, I love the experience. He's a gamer, but his pocket passing is not the strength of his. He's been kind of a run quarterback, an RPO system type quarterback for Sam Houston in the recent years under Keeler. And now Phil Longo is saying, hey, Hunter, we know you're a good athlete. We know you're a good runner. You're still kind of erratic as far as passing, but damn it, you're going to throw the football. How is that going to work? Kind of is a big question here with Sam Houston State. It's almost like, hey, you may not be adept to throw the football, 30, 40 times a game, but I'm running the show here because I'm Phil Longo and I know best. You're going to throw the football a lot more now. So there's real question marks, bottom line, about whether this is going to work, here with Sam Houston State, this offense. That'll be a fascinating thing to behold. I still think there's pieces of this offensive line or offense overall that are in good shape. We'll get to the defense in a second. That's the area that is completely depleted. We'll get to that in a second. The Sam Houston State defense is starting over from scratch this year. It shouldn't be as bad a situation here for the offense. The biggest fear, as I mentioned, that I have for the offense is just the significant scheme change they're undergoing, and whether Hunter Watson, the incumbent quarterback, is going to be the best fit for the kind of offense that Phil Longo now wants to implement and put in here and install with this Sam Houston State team. So that's definitely something to be a little bit concerned about here for sure. They do have to replace their top two running backs, the brand new receivers there at the skill positions. How's that going to go? It looks like Elijah Green and Alton McCaskill going to be the primary running backs for this team. They do say good things about Quavez Humphreys at the receiving core. And so even though there's some new faces there, they're saying good things about some of the skill position talent they do have. It'll be interesting to see just how this overall offense is able to fit here when it's all said and done, because you are talking about a quarterback that at times struggled with accuracy, at times struggled with interceptions, and now you're going to have to ask him to throw the football a bit more. The O-line's in decent shape, though, for the Sam Houston State Bearcats, so that's the good sign. If you flip it to the defense, they were a very good defensive team last year. They forced a ton of turnovers. They were very good against the run. They were solid in the secondary. It was the Sam Houston State defense that was probably, the strength of the team last year. The offense had its moments, and the offense was solid. The defense was really good for Casey Keeler and Sam Houston State last year. But now you look at the situation here, new defensive coordinator, their top tackler's gone. They've lost pretty much all the key defensive linemen and edge rushers that they had. So the pass rush is going to take a huge hit this year for the Sam Houston State defense, at least on paper, based on what they're not bringing back. So you're concerned about that. The DC is going to be Freddie Autry-Lindsey from NC State. And NC State, has had solid defense over the years, but there's a lot of lost personnel, scheme change, coordinator change. How can you not, especially in a conference like this where there's going to be good offenses and good quarterbacks, how do you not think Sam Houston State's defense is going to struggle more this year, especially early in the season, as they get used to all the new faces, new coordinator, and obviously the new defense. And the thing that hurts Sam Houston State here, C-Max, I just talked about how the defense is basically starting over from scratch, and I don't think it's going to be very good to start the season. What an opponent to have to play in your first game, because Western Kentucky could be, freaking loaded for bear on offense this year, entering this season. And that's the scary part. When you look at this Hilltoppers team, you go all the way back to when Jeff Brom was the head coach here all those years ago, and just how they've always had good offenses, good quarterback play. Tyson Helton now been here a very long time, 7th season here as head coach of the Hilltoppers. Okay, they're replacing starting quarterback. They're replacing a lot of their receivers. There are 4 starters on the offensive line gone, and you would think, just based on what they lost from last year, their offense is going to take a huge step back. But there is a huge, huge continuity factor that I think should help Western Kentucky hit the ground running offensively right away, especially in a game like this against a rebuilding defense. And that's the fact that Tyson Helton brought in Rick Bowie from Valdosta State as his offensive coordinator, and brought the quarterback that Rick Bowie had at Valdosta State to Western Kentucky with him in Maverick McIver. And from all indications, this kid can sling it. He's a very accurate quarterback. He has been putting up massive numbers at Valdosta State the last few years in this offense. So he has his coordinator that he had there at Valdosta State, Rick Bowie. McIver in an offense he's comfortable with. They brought in some of the O-linemen, transferred over as well from Valdosta State. So this all of a sudden is like Valdosta State offense coming to Western Kentucky. So there's continuity, there's familiarity, and I think that could be a sign that, even though they lost a lot from last year's team, you've got this opportunity to really start fast, because you've got so many people that are used to what's going on that you've brought in here on offense for Western Kentucky. And that's really, really, I think, an important thing to factor in here. The offense will, and keep in mind, too, that all those pieces on offense, C-Mac, that they lost from last year, you can make an argument that was the weakest and worst Hilltopper offense that we've seen in a long time. That was not the Western Kentucky offense where we've become accustomed to, where it's just plug and play. They're chucking the ball. They're putting up 30 points, 40 points a week. They're creating big plays on offense. They didn't really do that consistently last year, Western Kentucky. I mean, they only averaged 24.5 points per game, 84th in the country. That's way down from what they've averaged in the past. So I think when you look at it, okay, all the offense is gone from last year, but you bring in an OC and a quarterback, that hand and glove fit from another school to come in right away, and I think be familiar and comfortable right away to be pretty solid. So I really worry in this matchup, C-Mac, about that Sam Houston defense, because I think McIver and his OC, Rick Bowie, they're going to hit the ground running, and they could absolutely slice and dice a defense that's kind of starting over. The question is going to be, can Sam Houston's offense early in the season kind of acclimate themselves quickly to this change in offense, this scheme change, where they're going to go from run heavy to throwing the ball at least 50-50, if not even a little bit more pass, and play with more tempo. How will that go for Sam Houston? And when you look at the Western Kentucky defense last year, their defense still was not great. The run defense in particular was not very good either. That's a concern for this Western Kentucky group. There was definitely a decline in that side of the football. And when you look at it, the returning production is less than stellar, in my opinion, on Western Kentucky's defense entering this season. So even though you're learning a new offense for Sam Houston State, there could be opportunities for them to move the football. As you can tell, I like over the total here. The total's 60. Western Kentucky, as always, they'll play with tempo. And they are going to crank the tempo up even more, because I think with Tyson Helton last year, we even saw them slow it down a little bit because the offense was just so ineffective and struggled way more than it has in the past. Well, not this year. They're going back to pace, bringing in Bowie and McIver, the OC and the quarterback, together from Valdosta State. They're comfortable. They played a very
Abilene,
fast
right?
pace.
Didn't you go to Abilene Christian?
It was Valdosta State. That they
swear it was Abilene Christian.
Was it Abilene? It was Abilene Christian. Sorry. Valdosta State before that was where Bowie was, and then Abilene Christian. But yes, most recently, you're right. Abilene Christian. Most recently. Yes. My bad. Abilene Christian is where Rick Bowie and most recently Rick Bowie and Maverick McIver both applied their trade. So they come over from Abilene Christian, and they played lightning fast pace. They're bringing that to Western Kentucky. I think they'll slice a rebuilding Sam Houston State defense. And on the flip side, there's enough holes and concerns, in my opinion, with the Hilltopper defense that even with a new offense and going from run heavy to more 50-50 and more passing and more pace, that even Hunter Watson and Sam Houston State can score and put up points and contribute to the total. So I like the over. I would also maybe consider the Western Kentucky side of it, because I do get concerned as the game goes on. It may be a little bit more difficult for Sam Houston State to keep pace for 60 minutes. So I think I may look at now it's probably going to be around 35 in that range. See if you can get it below the key number of 35 if you can. But a Western Kentucky team total over is very interesting to me. I could see it. I really think Sam Houston State's up against it here. This is a defense starting from scratch. And this is an OC and quarterback coming in here to Western Kentucky that know each other and know their system and know their playbook very, very well. And this McIver, from all indications, can absolutely throw the football. And he's put up monster numbers at Abilene Christian. So I like over the total of 60 in this game, and with also maybe a look toward possibly isolating Western Kentucky's team total over in this game as well. CMAC, what do you think here? Sam Houston State and Western Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, we will see. I mean, they're going to want to play at that kind of pace. With the new coach, with Longer, you talk about, I don't know what we get with Sam Houston. They were just so slow last year. The best defense in the conference, scoring defense, which is just gutted. Talked about, I mean, they still have 2 to 3 starters basically coming back. But I want to see it more, because it is. I mean, a lot of it's just gone. Watson's still there. And I think you can run the ball. One thing is, though, with Western Kentucky, I thought their defense early on against, the teams that they play was pretty good. They were shit down the stretch. I mean, and this team lost 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're really any better. Now, and also, just when I look at this line, too, it's like, I guess you're going off last year a little bit with the number, but it almost seems like it'd be higher. And just when I see Western Kentucky, they are at home. I'm not going to lay double digits unless I got to see the guy first. I got to see good old Maverick fucking sling the rock around. I'm just not interested in the lane. I just don't see him, even though I think the offense will be pretty good. He could come out, have some turnovers. This could be wild. So there's just a lot of question marks in this game, and a Sam Houston team that maybe I'm a little biased too, because I bet them a ton. They're great as an underdog. The unders were money with them, but yeah, they have some real issues going forward. We'll see if Watson can throw the ball a little bit more. I mean, he is who he is. He's got to run it. He's college quarterback in this
what
conference.
I've seen, they're not going to just be all of a sudden air raid offense.
They can't.
They're not, and they can't. He's not that stupid.
I was
he's the best coach, but he's not that dumb. They are still going to be. It's just that they were probably, I would say, under Keeler, Sam Houston was probably 70-30 with a run-pass split. They were definitely more heavy to the run. Probably be closer to 50-50 this year with the new offense in place.
So with me, this is the way. I mean, there's just no way on the side. It would be Sam Houston with the points, and because of that, the defense is the big issue. If they could just be all right here, I think it's under or nothing. But there's just so many question marks, with it, with this high total. So yeah, it's just a stay off for me in this game.
There it is. It's Conference USA getting started for the new season with that matchup there. Sam Houston State taking on Western Kentucky.